Hi everybody, again, I'm Phil Smythe still, and this is my in-depth review of Tai Lopez's Business Accelerator or Entrepreneur Accelerator program. Depends on which stuff you look at. We're up to step number 4, and this one is called Raising Capital. Now, not raising the capital like Washington, D.C. So, again, just to, as a little summary, he says, that this course is all about building entrepreneurship. And an entrepreneur is somebody who wants to get their ideas out, to remake the world in their own image. And through this course, Tai, and by extension myself, will be covering things like philosophy, strategy, the nuts and bolts, the practical side of running a business and becoming an entrepreneur and building yourself to that level of financial prosperity. So great. Now this one is about, as I said, raising capital. Tai, as always, starts off with an example, and this one is relevant, so I'm going to include it, where he talks about a friend of his and Tai. They started a business at the same time. Now the friend's business is now worth in excess of $1 billion. We don't know who this friend is or what the business is. And Tai says, that, well, because he never says anything specific about what his business is or what it does, his business is worth less than $1 billion. Not so helpful, but there you go. Big of him to admit that his business is worth less than $1 billion. I would like to go on record right now as saying that my business is also worth less than $1 billion. So what was the difference between Tai and his friend who started their businesses at the same time? Well, the friend had specialized knowledge, and that specialized knowledge was in raising capital. Presumably he had other specialized knowledge as well. But raising capital, raising finances. And his friend knew how, where, and when to raise money, and he raised about $80 million over several rounds of financing, whereas Tai did not. Tai raised, I think it was under $1 million or something. Who knows? And so, yes, that friend knew about that and knew how to raise money, and raising money is quite important. And of course, there are tons of examples of people who don't raise any money and have a successful business. So there's all kinds of ways to do business, which kind of undermines the message that Tai is trying to put through in this video, but Tai himself said it in here. So, but knowing how to raise money, of course, is very important. And as Tai goes on to say, that raising money is a kind of a double-edged sword. And just as a note to Tai, if he's watching, it's double-edged sword, not double-edged. And we don't say edged in this case. So, yes, a double-edged sword. So there's pros and cons, like everything in life. The pros are, of course, you have money. And, with that money, you can attract great people to work for you. You can perhaps buy competitors. You can, not worry so much about cash flow. You can invest in growth. Yeah, having money, I don't think the pros is not really a problem. The cons, though, are interesting, what Tai comes up with for cons. Now, one is that it can make you lazy, and that you won't focus on making your product amazing if you already have the money. People who are like that should not be in business, in my opinion. But yes, I guess some people are like that. Because, as Tai goes on, he says, necessity is the mother of invention. Being hungry makes you look for food. He uses the Hilton hotel chain as an example, when Hilton went bust after the Great Depression and then built up his hotel chain from that. Having a hotel chain before, went bust and built it up again because he had to, I guess, because he'd been used to the money, I guess, I don't know. So too much cash, Tai claims, is an enemy of creativity. But that being said, you don't want to raise money too early, and there's a few reasons for that. You should raise money after you have some profit and proof that people are buying. Now, again, there's always caveats to this and exceptions, and if you have a company that needs a lot of startup capital, like you're making a new car or you're trying to fly to the moon, or which some people are trying to do, you're doing these capital intensive things, and to a certain extent even farming is capital intensive at the beginning. You might have to raise some money. But the best thing to do is to raise money after you have proved that it's worth it. And Tai says he likes to raise money after creating something cool. Now, whatever that cool thing is, we don't know, but yeah, there we go. But so they're raising the money, making you lazy, and then there's another one, and that is dilution. And this is very important. And that the earlier you raise money, the more you will have to give away your company, of your company, to get that money. And this is kind of about raising the money after you have proof of profit and proof of investor or customer interest. So they go hand in hand, really. And with one of my companies, Toy Guru, that maybe you read about, we went on Shark Tank. And I begged them not to go on Shark Tank, but my partners, some of them wanted to go on Shark Tank and get the investment. And we were so early there that, of course, we had to give a lot of the company away to get that money in. Was it worth it? No, it was not. So, supposedly most entrepreneurs don't understand that getting money in is a double-edged sword, that there are pros and cons. If it's true that you don't understand that, God help you, that's all I can say. So, go in stages, pre-revenue. If you're not making anything, any investors you should be getting are friends, family, and yourself. You should be putting your own money in there. Give till it hurts, And then after revenue is when you can get in other people's money. Be very careful about getting money from friends and family, by the way, because you're doing that at pre-revenue stage. In other words, you don't even know if your thing's going to work, and you're going to get money from your friends and family, and that thing could tank, as most businesses do. So, yeah, be careful. So that's it. Raising capital. I don't know that we learned a lot apart from the pros and cons, but there we go. So here's the questions that Tai had for this one, and there were only 2 questions. The first one was, what was your attitude before you watched Tai's or my video about raising capital? Did you think there was pros and cons, and did you or not? And fair enough if you didn't, now you should know. And why do you think your attitude was like that before this video? And question number 2 is, what stage are you currently in? Pre-revenue, post-revenue, and based on where you are, where is the most likely source of money for you? And I'm a bit surprised that you would ask this question because, Tai, that's why we're watching this video, is to find out where the source of money is. But anyway, that was his question number 2. That's it for stage number 4 of the 67 stages of the Business Accelerator. See you soon. I'm Phil Smythe.